Chapter 31, we're at the end, my last video, best for last. This is going to be a little lengthy, and it needs to be, because it is the most important chapter. We debated in laying out the table of contents and the presentation. Should this video be in the first section? It is our secret ingredients, our steps. I begin in this chapter, I come from Kentucky, and it hit me only just a few weeks ago that we had 11 steps in the e-negotiation process. That is the patent. That is our differentiator. But being from Kentucky, it hit me, Colonel Fried Chicken, the Colonel. He had 11 secret ingredients. I did a little SWOT research, and I learned that he never patented it. It's my understanding Coke keeps the recipe in a vault, and that KFC, even the president of the company, corporation, doesn't know the 11 ingredients in the mixture. They license certain suppliers to do that. So, think about how he's grown that whole business. He sort of did it out of his trunk, right? And and the kitchen was open, the recipe. That in our case, we're kind of putting it out there. Yeah, there's a patent, but the steps to follow are there. So you could let us cook. I have to credit Andrew Beckman, who's involved in the business. I call him my nephew. He's my best friend's son. My best friend passed, unfortunately, of cancer in 2024. And Andrew and I have battered this back and forth for several years. And one of our little catchphrases about today, just-us.ai, is a voice you deserve at a price you can afford. My recipe, kind of like a report, is I spent my entire professional life, 40 years, formulating these 11 steps, formulating the TDR methodology, writing the algorithm. My oldest daughter, served in the Navy. She went to flight school, and she's very good at math. And her and her boyfriend at the time, who was, I think, majored in math from Georgia Tech, came to the house, and I said, hey, this is 7, 8, 9 years ago, when version 2, maybe version 3 of TDR was out. I said, hey guys, can you help me with an algorithm? Today the algorithm is obviously much more complex, but I've been building this recipe, but it's not for chicken, it's for justice. There's the name. We blended it with the public domain component and the proprietary component. We want to protect ourselves to some degree, based on lessons I've learned, not having a patent. I'm not going to mention the company's names, but there's several household name companies today in the information services business in the sector of real estate, that if I would have patented what I was doing in 1994 through about 97, they would be paying me a royalty on the patent today. The chapter is divided with the roadmap of the 11 steps. There's quite a bit about it. If you want to kind of say what chapter has the most about the patent, it would be chapter 31. Some might argue I shouldn't be as open as I have been about it. But I took traditional steps, processes of face-to-face negotiation or traditional negotiation as it's been taught, and said, hey, how is it different than electronic negotiation? read the chapter. It's all there. I'm not going to repeat it. I would like to give you a couple of concluding thoughts. And this is because this book, hopefully these videos, will outlive me. It'll contribute in a large part to my legacy. This book wouldn't have been possible. It's a 40-year journey. The people that know me well know I love to cook. I've been told I'm a really good cook, but I enjoy it, and it relaxes me. And I've enjoyed putting together this recipe, these steps. But I want to, I've always said, again, my name is David. The legal industry is Goliath. That's what this whole book's about. It's a wake-up call. It's to begin dialogue. We need partners. We want to take this to Latin America, both the Spanish-speaking and Portuguese-speaking part of Latin America. We go to Germany, one of the larger economies, German. Or want to go to Europe, one of the larger economies, German. Join me. We're not going to knock the legal industry out. We just see a divide. Try us, try this processes, whether it's through me or through a competitor or through us. If you can't resolve it in 90 days, file litigation and then do ADR, mediation, arbitration through the legal system. Why can't we do both? Why can't we open this up to the 60 to 80% of the people who can't afford a lawyer? Okay? I've said throughout the system is broken. Yeah, there's a lot of people employed. And again, everybody, 60, 80% of the jobs. I said in a previous video, my mom's role in a law office would basically be wiped out by AI. And you look at our patent and you look at our processes, it's heavy AI. I made a comment that the original system had thousands of lines of code. It took months and months to develop. Today, with cloud, AI tools, video conferencing tools, components you can license, you can orchestrate a solution very simply. Think about Uber. All of us have used it. It's a very simple app. Did Uber write the mapping? Did they write the credit card processing? No, you license these components. They evolve. They update. Remember the old days, you get version 1 of the software, you wait 3 years, then you put in next version, it's radically different. You got to, the whole company loses productivity, retraining, people come in, big manuals, whatever. You ever seen a training manual for an app? No, we don't. The third part of chapter 31 is personal. And I'm going to end on a personal note. I've been, and I'm not bragging, a serial high-tech entrepreneur. Folks, entrepreneurism is an addiction. If you're really, truly an entrepreneur. The book tells the story is when I was 10, my father, very traditional Southern father, said, "Hey, son, when you get 16, you're going to want a car." I was 10. I just want to play in the street with my friends. He said, "You need to get a job. Why don't you cut grass?" And he told me to go knock on some doors. He come home from dinner and he said, "Did you get any jobs?" And I go, "No." He goes, "Let's go knock on some doors." We knocked on doors. I had about 7 jobs. We're walking back. He goes, "Whose lawnmower are you going to use?" I go, "Well, yours, our family lawnmower." He goes, "No, you're not going to wear it out cutting all these yards. I'll advance you $100. It's about how much a lawnmower was, 3.5 horsepower Briggs and Stratton. And away we go. That was my beginning of, don't blame my dad. My grandfather, his dad was a farmer. People go, "Well, how did you get so risk-willing or non-risk averse?" Farmers, every time they put out their crops, they could lose everything. They'd be one bad planting season, harvest season away from losing the farm. That's what entrepreneurs do. I have 3 young men that I think the world of. The Beckman boys. Their father was my best friend. I call them my nephews. And a young man, Chance, that was son of a wonderful lady I dated in 2019 and 20. He's an entrepreneur. Zachary Beckman's an entrepreneur. Andrew's an entrepreneur. They're all three. And, you know, I take some pride that I've had some influence on them, I think they would say, and admit. But I'm also very careful to make sure they know the ugly part. Entrepreneurism is not good. The saying, live a few years like nobody else would, because it is sacrifice. Everybody knows it's a sacrifice. To live the rest of your life like no one else can. It's cool. I post it on social media all the time. You know, I go, this is my kind of marching mission. The saying is, I would rather work 80, 100 hours a week on my dream versus 40 hours a week on someone else's dream. Good entrepreneurial stuff. But let's pull that back. It's more than 80 hours. It's a 7-day-a-week thing. I've been at this for 13 years. Get the gray hair, the wrinkles, the age. It has not been easy. It's 13 years is far more than a few years like no one else would. I've lived 13 years like no one else would. Because I'm taking on a big battle here. You know, I want my daughters to know. I want those 3 young men to know. You know, persistence, consistency, watching my competitors. I'm not a patient man by nature. But this has been the most patient thing I've done. I've watched my competitors go through millions of dollars in venture capital. Do you know I've went through less than, let's just round it up to about $3 million in 13 years. Some of these guys went through $15 million in less than 2. 40 million, 96 million, some of the numbers that my research indicates. This is not for the faint of heart, folks. So while this book is mostly about conflict, we've presented solid arguments. We're at the conclusion of our next steps. It's written in the chapter. What we want to do, what we plan to do, what we're going to do. But for my children, those 3 individuals, other entrepreneurs, that even when you're successful, what they don't tell you is like an addiction. When I sold and I had entrepreneurial success, I was 30 years old when I sold the first company I built for $11 million. Now, the whole 11 wasn't mine. I had shareholders. But what did I do? I bought planes, trains, and automobiles because I never had any money. Bought a new house. Made sure my kids went to private school. But I used all the rest of it to start another business. High tech. There's in the chapter, there's the technology adoption curve. And all technology follows innovation. An early adopter. Only up to 10% of the of possible customers would even try early adoption technology. It's probably closer to 2 or 3%. Then you get into, you know, mass adoption. Folks, we got a long way to go still. This is going to take a major effort, but me, this book, the patent, the system, the adoption, I follow this. You know, that's why I have these gray hairs. I've learned a lot, and it's all incorporated in this book. And I just want to warn young people about entrepreneurism. And, you know, I didn't start this business until my youngest daughter was entering her senior year. It was in her junior year, but she's looking at her senior year. But you can't risk your kids. Entrepreneurs probably would if they can, and they would probably argue I did more than I should. But this endeavor is me and Stanley, and I want to use the end here to thank Stanley. Why is he called contributing author? He didn't write much of the book. There's some of things he has written that are cited in the book, contained in the book. But this book would have never been possible without Stanley. He's the legal industry, and I'm against the legal industry. The truth is in the middle. And then you mix technology and enablement. Believe it or not, TDR Methodology version 5, which this book is about, does contain a lot of what TDR Methodology number 1, or version 1 did. I mentioned the thousands of lines of code versus hundreds of lines of code. But AI and EQ is the equalizer. I hope this book is great for you all. We're excited about it. I don't know if we're going to sell a lot of books. I hope we do. That wasn't the purpose. It was to have it as a reference for dialogue, consideration, training, involvement. I think people will be talking about TDR long after I'm gone. As mentioned in the introductions, TEDR, technology enhanced, small enhanced. The speaker says it's not technology. It's technology to enhance the human guided process, the technology enabled process. So thank you for reading the book. Thank you for listening to these videos. And we love to evangelize. It's difficult to convert one by one. It's like, I'm sorry for the religious analogy, but I used to teach world religion. It would probably be fairly challenging to convert a Muslim to Judaism or vice versa, or to a Christian. It's really kind of hard to convert the attorneys that this is a good way. And I'm not going to live long enough to convert the masses. And I don't even know that. We see Resolve Talk as the solution for them. See a new way to serve, a new way to generate revenue, a new way to be a client for life. There's a lot in this book. We're available. We love to talk about it. We love to debate it. We love to evangelize it. And thank you for taking your time to give us the consideration of enlightening you. And that's what we hope this book was.